When 100 doctors failed to heal the son of one of the most powerful men alive, hope came from the most unexpected place, the cleaning lady's daughter. This is HB Vibes, your home for shocking and emotional war stories. Hit like, smash that subscribe, and let's dive into the drama. This is not a story about power or wealth, it's a story about faith, brilliance, and a miracle born from compassion. The sterile glow of the hospital lights had long lost their promise of hope. Machines beeped in rhythmic despair, marking the fragile breaths of Luca Marino, the only son of Don Alessandro Marino, a man whose name made entire cities tremble. For months, the boy had been trapped in that hospital bed, pale, frail, and fading. His illness was rare, undiagnosed, unyielding. The best specialists from around the world had been summoned. German neurologists, American surgeons, Japanese immunologists, all had come and gone, leaving behind nothing but confusion and fear. Money can buy almost anything, Don Marino had once said, but not this. His empire was built on power, but in this cold white room, power meant nothing. His wife prayed silently every night beside their son, clutching a rosary that trembled in her hands. And still, Luca grew weaker, until one morning, the hospital janitor, Maria Johnson, overheard two nurses whispering about the hopeless case. Maria's eyes flicked toward the ICU door where the guards in black suits stood watch. She shook her head softly, whispering to herself, if only they'd let my daughter look. Her daughter, Amara Johnson, wasn't a doctor. Not officially. She was a 23-year-old medical researcher who had graduated top of her class from an Ivy League university, a scholarship student who never forgot the scent of bleach and long nights her mother endured as a cleaning lady. Amara had developed a quiet fascination with rare genetic disorders, spending her free time reading case studies and working in experimental biotech. Her mind worked differently. She didn't follow standard procedures, she created them. That same night, Maria went home, eyes tired but voice determined. "Baby," she said, setting her cleaning gloves on the counter. "There's a boy at the hospital. Everyone says he's dying, but something in me tells me you could help." Amara's eyes softened. "Mom, I can't just walk into a private case. You said his father's dangerous." Maria nodded slowly. "Yes, but he's still a father watching his child slip away." "You'd understand that." Amara hesitated, torn between fear and empathy, but something inside her whispered that destiny was calling. The next morning, Amara walked into the hospital under the pretense of visiting her mother. Her white lab coat didn't bear a hospital badge, only the symbol of the small independent biotech lab she worked for. The guards outside Luca's room eyed her suspiciously, but when Don Marino himself appeared, something about her calm gaze caught his attention. He had seen desperation, deceit, arrogance, but this young woman had something else. Quiet certainty. "Who are you?" he asked, his deep Italian accent cutting through the air. "My name is Amara Johnson," she said evenly. "My mother cleans these halls. I'm not here for money. I'm here because I think I can help your son." A low laugh came from behind him, one of the doctors scoffing. "With respect, sir, she's not even on staff. We've had world-renowned specialists here." Don Marino raised a hand, silencing him. His dark eyes stayed locked on hers. "And what makes you think you can do what 100 doctors could not?" Amara's voice didn't shake. "Because I don't follow the same rules they do." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, with a slight nod, Don Marino gestured toward the door. "Show me." Inside, Amara approached Luca's bedside. She placed a gentle hand on his wrist, observing his breathing, the faint tremor in his fingers, the unusual pattern of color beneath his skin. Her eyes scanned the monitor readings, and her mind began connecting invisible dots. She noticed something strange in his blood report on the nearby chart, inconsistencies that everyone else had missed. The symptoms mimicked the rare enzyme disorder she had once studied, but there was something unique about his case. "He's not dying from infection," she whispered. "His cells are rejecting something synthetic, something that was supposed to help him." The senior doctor frowned. "Impossible. We've checked everything." Amara picked up the chart. "You missed one thing, the genetic interaction with the stabilizer in his medication. It's shutting down his mitochondrial function. You're treating him with what's killing him." Don Marino's eyes narrowed. "Can you fix it?" Amara took a deep breath. "If you trust me, yes." Amara returned to her small lab that night, heart racing. She didn't have corporate funding or high-end machines, but she had something far more valuable, determination and an intuitive mind. She stayed up until dawn studying Luca's genetic data, which Don Marino's men had delivered to her under tight security. The results confirmed her suspicion, a medication interaction causing cellular collapse. Her solution was radical, a serum made from bio-adapted enzymes that could restart the boy's energy production without triggering immune rejection. She synthesized the first prototype using only basic equipment, her hands steady even as exhaustion clouded her eyes. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Don Marino watched his son fading fast. His men reported back that the girl worked non-stop, refusing sleep or payment. "She's doing it for the boy," one said. For a man who had lived a life of control and manipulation, this sincerity was something alien and strangely moving. 3 nights later, Amara walked back into the ICU with a small vial in hand. "This will either save him," she said softly, "or it won't. But if we wait any longer, there'll be nothing left to save." Don Marino looked at her, then at his son. He nodded once. "Do it." The serum dripped slowly into Luca's IV. The room fell silent, every eye on the boy's pale face. Minutes felt like hours. Then, a flicker, his fingers twitched, the monitor's rhythm changed, becoming steadier. His breathing eased, the doctors gasped, crowding around the bed as numbers began to normalize. "It's working," Amara whispered. Don Marino didn't speak, his hands simply covered his mouth, trembling. For the first time in years, the man known for fear inspired by his name had tears in his eyes. But the victory wasn't instant. Over the next days, Luca's body fluctuated between recovery and relapse. Amara stayed by his side every hour, adjusting formulas, testing blood levels, and explaining every step to the skeptical medical team. And slowly, against all odds, the boy's strength began to return. He opened his eyes fully one morning and whispered, "Papa." Don Marino's composure broke entirely. He fell to his knees beside the bed, clutching his son's hand. "Yes, my son, I'm here." The doctors stood frozen. For months, they had failed. Now, this unknown young woman, the daughter of a cleaning lady, had succeeded where the best of them had not. Word spread quickly. At first, whispers within the hospital, then headlines in international medical journals. Mystery researcher heals uncurable case. Breakthrough treatment challenges modern medicine. Reporters tried to find Amara, but she avoided the spotlight. She didn't want fame, she wanted solutions. Don Marino, however, wasn't a man to forget a debt, especially one paid in love and mercy. One evening, he appeared at Amara's modest apartment, with 2 of his men, but instead of intimidation, he brought gratitude. "I owe you my son's life," he said. "You could ask me for anything, and I would give it." Amara shook her head. "I didn't do it for anything. I did it because no one else would." He smiled faintly. "Then allow me to do something for you, anyway." Weeks later, her small lab received anonymous funding, enough to expand into a full medical research center. And every paper she published carried the quiet legacy of that one patient who had changed everything. As months passed, Amara's reputation grew. She was invited to conferences, offered partnerships, and awarded honorary recognition. But she never forgot the lesson from Luca's case. Healing wasn't just about medicine, it was about seeing what others don't. One evening, as she walked through the hospital halls where it all began, she found her mother cleaning the same corridor. Maria looked up and smiled. "So, drive, Johnson now, huh?" Amara laughed softly. "Still your daughter." Her mother hugged her tight. "You made me proud, baby. You didn't just save that boy, you saved yourself from doubt." And for a moment, all the noise of the world faded away. 1 year later, Luca ran through a sunny garden, laughter echoing as he chased a butterfly. His father watched from a balcony, no guards, no fear, just quiet peace. Amara visited occasionally, now as a respected researcher and family friend. The bond that had formed out of desperation had transformed into respect and genuine gratitude. Before she left one afternoon, Don Marino approached her. "You know," he said quietly, "I've commanded armies, moved mountains, but the greatest miracle I've ever witnessed came from the hands of a young woman who saw what no one else did." Amara smiled. "Sometimes healing doesn't come from power, it comes from heart." He nodded, eyes glistening. "Then I hope my son grows up to have one like yours." As she walked away under the golden sky, Amara realized that her journey had never been about proving herself to anyone, not to the world, not even to the system that had overlooked her brilliance. It was about believing that compassion could still change lives, even in a world built on fear and pride. And in that truth, she found her greatest cure of all. If you felt the heartbeat of this story, give it a like, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to HB Vibes, where every story carries a lesson for the soul.